Closing arguments for the Murdaugh trial just took place as Murdaugh's defense team makes its final bid to keep him from spending decades in prison, but not before the jurors had the opportunity to see the crime from a new perspective. TikTok's popularity has skyrocketed in recent years, so much so in fact, the app is looking into new ways to keep users from endlessly scrolling. It's more than just a gym or a place to get your heart rate up. It's a community, and it's here in North Texas. Find out how this gym is catering to its members in more ways than one.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Piper Gifford.
And I'm April Piron.
April, this week has been gorgeous. Wonder if that beautiful weather is still in the forecast for us.
I did hear there might be some thunderstorms coming up, but let's go with Peter. Peter Abel, what do you got for us today?
Thanks so much, guys. Yeah. Really nice, but we do have storms coming up. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. For now, what I want you to know is that we do have the clouds right now. It's 76. It's about to start dropping. We're going to have a cold front that's going to push in pretty soon. Feels like 75 just because there's some wind right now. That's also going to pick up as we move into tonight and we see the storms that are going to start moving in here. It's going to drop all the way down to 47. It's going to feel like 43 because that wind is going to pick up. There will be gusts up to 50 miles an hour, but normally it's going to be about 15 miles an hour on the wind. And then tomorrow, when we wake up, we're going to see 61 degrees outside, still some clouds. Those will clear up by about the time you're waking up, getting out of bed. It's going to feel like 58 still, just because there is going to be some wind, but the storms are going to be mostly gone when we wake up tomorrow, and those clouds are going to be out of the way. So I'll give you more information about the storms that are coming up after our break, but for now, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Peter. A Pennsylvania man who allegedly tried to bring explosives onto a plane is scheduled to appear on court Thursday. Lehigh Valley International Airport's TSA stopped a bag from entering a flight after spotting an unusual object. Court documents say that investigators found a circular compound only about 3 inches in diameter. This object was wrapped in a wax-like paper and clear plastic wrap. Hidden in the lining of the luggage, authorities also found a can of butane with a lighter. 40-year-old Mark Muffley was arrested Monday night by the FBI. Court records show Muffley has had other run-ins with the law enforcement in the past, including March of 2022, where he pleaded guilty to charges of disorderly conduct.
Jurors heard closing arguments today in the murder trial of former South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh. And for the first time, the jury also saw the scene of the crime in person. Murdaugh has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of murder and 2 weapons charges in the June 2021 killings of his wife and son. CNN's Cole Higgins has the latest from South Carolina.
The jurors who will decide the fate of Alex Murdaugh finally touring the sprawling property where Murdaugh's wife and youngest son were shot and killed in June 2021. The jury spending most of their time at the family's dog kennels and the shed where Maggie and Paul died, seeing for the first time in person areas that have been the subject of much testimony. Testimony that included Murdaugh admitting on the stand he lied to investigators about where he was on the night of the murders.
Day number 27. And you have heard all of the testimony, received all of the evidence.
The lead prosecutor detailing Murdaugh's financial troubles, opioid addiction, and what he described as unbearable pressures, telling jurors during closing arguments,
there is only one person who had the motive, who had the means, who had the opportunity to commit these crimes. The defendant is the person on which a storm was descending, and the defendant is a person where his own storm would actually mean consequences for Maggie and Paul.
The prosecution also reminding jurors of the forensic evidence they say shows Murdaugh manufactured his alibi.
What were you doing from 9:02 to 9:06? Those are questions he doesn't want to answer, because he lies convincingly and easily, and he can do it at the drop of the hat. You've heard testimony about that. He's been doing it to all the people who trust him for years.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
Ahead of the defense's closing argument today, the judge for the case was informed that a juror has been having improper conversations with friends about the case. This had been proven to be true after interviews were conducted and the juror was forced to be removed.
In light of cybersecurity issues, the White House is calling to action a new cybersecurity plan. This plan calls for companies and national security to raise their defenses. The White House is aiming to work with Congress to implement this policy document that will help develop legislation that holds software companies liable when their products do not adequately protect against hackers. Several ransomware attacks have been threatened key public services, which have driven the policy document to be put in place. The Biden administration has already put into place cybersecurity requirements on aviation, oil, and gas pipelines. Tensions between the U.S. and China are on the rise as Biden administration approves the sale of an estimated $600 million potential arms to the country of Taiwan. The sale to Taiwan Wednesday includes missiles for F-16 fighter jets and other related equipment. A State Department official stated that the sale is, quote, consistent with the Taiwan Relations Act and the long-standing One China policy. The official also noted that Taiwan will be using its own funds for the purchase of the missiles. The single-engine F-16 fighters would be at the heart of Taiwan's defense in the event of an air attack from China. A news release for the U.S. Defense Secretary Cooperation Agency said the defense contractors for the equipment will be Raytheon and Lockheed Martin.
Coming up after the break, we have your full weather forecast with our go-to weatherman, Peter Rabel.
And the growth for electric vehicles has increased as Tesla has set its sight on Mexico to build their next plant. Stay with us after the break to find out more on ntTV News at Noon.
Can I see your voter registration, please? All right, you're good. No registration, no entry. All right. Let me see your voter registration card, please.
I'm not registered to vote.
No registration, no entry.
Dude, my friends are already in there.
No registration, no entry.
What the?
Join the club. Register to vote today.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh? Eh?
Welcome back. April, I have a feeling that we might see a tornado today. Are you scared of tornadoes?
Yes, I am frightened of tornadoes. But I know Peter has more information on this now that we're going into some pretty heavy thunderstorms, right? Peter, what do you got for us?
Thanks so much, guys. And yeah, we've got some storms coming up. Right now, I want you to look at Graham right now is 72 degrees. They're the first people getting hit with the storms that are moving in right now. The temperature is starting to drop. Right now, Stephenville is about to get hit with that. But as we look to the east, everything is still kind of up in the air, more or less. Fort Worth still feels like 78. It's about to start dropping as they get hit with this rain that's coming up. Gainesville and Denton is going to be a little bit later. The rain is going to hit us at about 3 p.m. today. We're looking at a potential for some tornadoes here in Denton. We've got a potential for hail coming up, and that'll all start at 3 p.m. And then there's going to be a really bad storm center that hits us specifically in Denton here for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to see that pass, and it's going to just keep raining. And then at about 6 o'clock, we're going to get another really big storm movement hit us again, and that'll last about 15 to 30 minutes, and then it's gonna be calm, but it will rain pretty much all night. Those are the two times that I want you to be most aware of the potential for hail and the potential for a tornado. The cold front that hits us is gonna last through the weekend, but we're gonna see the temperatures get back up to about 60 in our area here. But for now, it feels warm. It's about to start cooling down as that rain comes in. There's gonna be winds up to 55 miles an hour. It's gonna get windy. It's going to get hail, there's going to be tornadoes. It's kind of a perfect storm. As we look at our region, though, you'll see that in El Paso, it is already 43 degrees. That rain has already hit them. It's moving towards us now. Amarillo, 55, those same conditions. Again, in the east, that cold front is still moving towards us. Hasn't hit us yet. It will throughout the day as we move further east. But let's look at the 7-day forecast, because after these temperatures pass through us, we're going to see that it's going to just start warming right back up again today. 90% chance of rain. That goes into tomorrow. We're going to see storms till about 4 a.m. But as I said earlier, once you wake up, it's going to feel a lot better in the morning. Saturday, it's going to get right back up to 70. It will start at 45. So if you're getting up early, make sure you've got a jacket on. And then throughout the rest of the week, it'll be clear for a while. We're going to see storms potential as we move into early next week, but it shouldn't be too bad. So we'll see how things are going to look more as that comes by. We're not sure. The weather is still rapidly changing on us right now. But for right now, this is what you've got to look forward to. Hope you guys have a safe. Hope you guys are able to stay safe. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Peter. The recent rounds of Northern California storms have residents left picking up the pieces. Steve Large takes us to the scene.
Like I just gasped, and I don't normally gasp. That's not something I do. And I just saw it, I was like, ooh.
Pastor Daniel Cordova describes the spectacular sight. His church building transformed into debris.
There are trusses that go over the top of the whole thing.
Heavy snow weighing down the massive rooftop, forcing the collapse, the roof caving in overnight. No one was hurt. This is a video of a recent sermon inside the Calvary Chapel Church, showing it before the damage. These photos show the aftermath inside. Pastor Cordova took these snapshots of the wreckage, the cross still clinging to a wall.
I was passing through here today looking at some things and saw our big cross on our front wall, and I thought, you know, if I don't believe in resurrection now, I should get out of the business, you know.
The church roof collapse followed a deadly Forest Hill porch collapse a day earlier. An 80-year-old woman killed standing beneath it. Heavy snow has hit this Forest Hill community hard. People who live here are now in survival mode.
I've never seen it this bad. This is, it's pretty horrible.
It's like way too much. Limbs are snapping. The lady passed away. There's trees down everywhere in cars. It's incredible, it really is.
PG&E crews have been out in full force trying to restore the power to this community, cut off by downed trees.
This would be evidence that you should probably clear your roof off.
Now, a pastor seeking a new place for his parishioners. His church in shambles, his spirit unbroken.
We haven't been able to meet in here because of the weather, because of, several feet of snow. And so we're just grateful that nobody was in it, not even a chance of people being in it.
And Pastor Cordova says that he doesn't know where he'll be holding his church services this coming Sunday. He may have to resort to giving his sermon via Zoom.
While we haven't had much snow in Denton, it's always important to observe as many weather safety precautions as possible.
We have some exciting news for the labor market. Weekly jobless claims have dropped for the third week in a row. According to the Department of Labor, first-time claims for unemployment are down to 190,000. That's 2,000 less than the week before. These numbers beat out economists' expectations despite layoffs in tech, media, and the mortgage industry. The U.S. labor market appears strong. There's almost 2 jobs available per job seeker. The seasonal adjustment factors for 2023 will be updated at the end of March. As for the beginning of this year, we have seen already the lowest unemployment rate in more than 50 years, but economists don't see this number going any lower.
Delta airline pilots are gearing up for their new pay increase. The increase is at a whopping 34%. The raises will take place over a 4-year deal, making them worth over $7 billion. The Airline Pilots Association says the contract includes quality of life improvements for Delta's 15,000 pilots. The pilots negotiated pay, benefits, vacation time, and more. The deal has been a long time in the making. Negotiations began in 2019 and were put to a pause during the pandemic. The agreement is now active and will run through the end of 2026.
Following Delta's pay increase, Southwest flight attendants are headed outside for a rally today at Love Field. These 2 months come after the company's operational meltdown that affected thousands of passengers. The flight attendants say the protest is not just about the employees, but also about the passengers. The employees are seeking better pay, greater health benefits, and newer technology for an overall better flight experience. Southwest says picketing is common during the times of contract negotiation. The employees protesting today are off duty, so passengers won't need to worry about travel delays going to and from Love Field.
A new report suggests the U.S. gender pay gap hasn't evened out much in the last 20 years. A Pew Research Center study shows that women made 82 cents for every dollar a man earned last year, and not much has changed since the early 2000s. Pew suggests women's pay has been stuck in place even as they beat out men in educational qualifications. Having a child is a factor in this, but even women beginning their careers only make 90 cents for every young man's dollar. Part of the issue appears to be that women are overrepresented in lower earning occupations and underrepresented in higher ones. Pew also notes a racial wage gap. It says women of color earns just 70% of what a white man makes.
Coming up next, TikTok has added a new feature to its app that will help teens limit their screen time.
And Telsa plans to have their next assembly plant in Monterrey, Mexico. Find out more after the break.
TikTok has come out with a plan to prevent teens from spending hours of their day scrolling on the app. This new feature includes making a default screen limit of 60 minutes and will be used for users under the age of 18. When the 60 minutes is up, teens will be led to a screen where they must enter a passcode to continue on. Although the setting can be turned off, users who spend more than 100 minutes on the app will be promptly to set a daily screen time for themselves. The social media platform has also announced a new update for their family pairing feature, which allows parents to choose the types of videos and hashtags that their child can view. Parents will also have the option to create a custom screen time as a time frame to mute TikTok notifications on their child's phone.
Tesla's next vehicle assembly plant will be near Monterrey, Mexico. CEO Elon Musk made the announcement during an investor day for the company Wednesday. Musk called it a supplemental production, making it clear that production is not being moved to the new location from anywhere else. The company currently builds about 2 million cars a year at 4 factories, which are located in Fremont, California, Shanghai, China, Austin, Texas, and Berlin, Germany. It has set a goal of eventually building 20 million cars a year. Some investors had hoped Tesla would announce details about a next generation of vehicles, but Musk said he does not anticipate Tesla ever having more than 10 different vehicles in its product lineup. Tesla did not comment on the cost of the new plant.
April, there are so many new ways to work out. I am overwhelmed by all the options.
Yeah, and I know, but there are many. I know that Regina has a health segment for us on see if she can give us some more helpful tips on how we can work out and exercise our bodies. Regina, what do you got for us?
Thanks, guys. Do you ever get really indecisive about choosing your favorite method of exercise? Well, there's so many to choose from, whether it's cycling, weightlifting, or yoga. But have you tried combining all three? Well, the fitness studio Spenga does just that. Check it out.
2 push-ups, 60 to 65 RPMs. I got into spin and fitness about 2 years ago, and ever since I fell in love with Spenga and the program, and I just love how it hits all 3 pillars of fitness all in one.
Spenga is rejuvenation of the day for you.
I want to say amazing. I was
encouraging, like now you see everybody and everybody's just like, yeah, keep going, and you're like, yes. So we pump each other up, and that's great.
The 3 benefits, for sure, you're hitting all 3 pillars of fitness. So you have your cardio the first 20 minutes on the bike, then we go into strength, building up your muscles over on the rep floor, and then you finish with flexibility and yoga. And so you really hit all 3 pillars that you need.
Then just getting to know everybody else and how friendly everybody is, how, great, welcoming every day, everybody's encouraging for you to do better. And, it's actually been great. You don't really find that in a lot of places. Most people just kind of mind themselves or hardly say hi. Oh no, you come here and it's, hey, hi, good morning. Where you been? How are you?
It just really puts a smile on my face when people come in and they thoroughly enjoy the workout or the music. It just puts a smile on my face.
So I had the pleasure of taking a class myself, and it definitely left me feeling strong and encouraged to tackle the rest of my day. So if you're feeling like you want to be surrounded by a community that supports you, give Spenga a shot, and maybe you'll find your favorite way to get a sweat in. That's all that I have for you guys. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Regina. Spenga sounds so exciting.
It really does. Maybe we can do a Thursday noon news group session. Hey, Brandon, what do you say? You in?
Thanks for the invite, April. So in for something positive in my life because sports has been taking its toll on my health. Every team in Dallas is struggling, and it is getting harder to watch. More on that after the break. Welcome back to ntTV News at Noon. My name is Brendan O'Donnell, and here's what's going on in sports. The Mavericks continue to struggle since acquiring Kyrie Irving in a trade nearly a month ago. They have now lost 5 of their last 6 games. Mavericks coach Jason Kidd believes it to be some immaturity on the team. There's only one player under 30 in the starting lineup, and that's Luka Doncic. I guess Coach Kidd was trying to subtly throw Luka Doncic under the bus instead of tossing him right in front of it. Luka might not be the only one to blame. Kyrie Irving put some of the blame on himself, stating, "I really want to win here. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I think I need to scale it back a little bit." Well, at least the flat earther is showing some maturity. Maybe Luka can follow suit. And hopefully that's a step in the right direction for what Coach Kidd wants out of this team. Just like the Mavericks, the Dallas Stars have struggles of their own. They've now lost 13 games in overtime this season. The most recent of these losses was against the Canucks on Monday. Stars fans, look away. Everyone else, watch this.
This Monday was National Pokemon Day, the anniversary of when the first Pokemon games, Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, they were first released for the Nintendo Game Boy. As a way of celebrating the Arlington Public Library, they put on an event for fans to come together and talk about the franchise they love. Take a look.
7th, the George W. Hawks Downtown Library in Arlington decided to put on a Pokemon event for National Pokemon Day, where over 100 people of all ages came together to talk about the massive franchise. Whether it was trading the trading cards, battling with the trading cards, or bringing their Nintendo Switches to play the newest games together, patrons were just filled with that Pokemon trainer spirit. Many even wanted to share what their favorite Pokemon was.
My favorite Pokemon is probably Fuecoco. I feel like he's my personified me because he's head empty, no thoughts, and also loves food, and that's me.
Oh, my favorite's Mewtwo.
Mewtwo? It's a sick one. Awesome.
It's a big debate since they keep adding more Pokemon every year, and I'm honestly on the verge of saying Leafeon is one of mine.
You'd swear there was an uproar with the amount of noise that was coming from the room. You definitely would have wanted to take a Pikachu inside. And the interesting thing was, everyone had a different story on how they became Pokemon fans. What got you into Pokemon?
Well, I mean, I think, not really anything. I kind of just like it. Like cool monsters and the cool moves and the games are really nice.
So I started playing Pokemon when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade. I think one of my neighbors got me into Pokemon, so I played like all the games, all the main story games.
As a fan of Pokemon myself, it was really nice to see a bunch of Pokemon fans come together for a franchise that started back in 1996 as a couple of pixels on a screen smaller than a smartphone.
I really like creating a team and then going through the story. It feels like they're like my little friends or something that I'm playing with. It is the best. So.
The community is great, and I kind of like just seeing everyone connect over something beautiful. And honestly, if you're in the Pokemon community, no one cares other than you like Pokemon. A lot of other fandoms give a lot of hate for other things, but Pokemon's just don't do that. And that is just a wonderful community to be a part of.
10 Public Library was perfect to allow Pokemon fans to trade, battle, and have a good time with other Pokemon enthusiasts. They even used to have a Pokemon club at the library. So who knows, perhaps one day you might be able to see it come back thanks to the great turnout of the 2023's Pokemon Day. Well, thanks for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again next week here on North Texas Television.